So anyway, here's a little something on media deception, and basically this revolves around, I'm not going to sit here and say that humanity is fallen and America is in moral decay. I don't really necessarily believe that. I believe that humanity is good, that each of us, if given the opportunity, would do the right thing. However, there are a few bad apples, and this episode of today's show will deal with one of those bad apples. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it looks to me like the Boston Marathon, a large-scale event, was used to run a drill at the same time. And there's a gentleman by the name of Richard Serino. He was, in 2008, he was the chief of the Boston EMS and the assistant director of Boston Public Health. Richard Serino drew up an exercise plan. It's called an X plan. They call these X plans. And the drawing up of it is an X plan document. So in 2008, Richard Serino drew up an exercise plan, and he titled it Marathons, the Tale of Two Cities and the Running of a Mass Casualty Event. The drill was multiple explosions at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. Does that sound familiar? Does anybody recall in April there was a Boston Marathon, and what happened? 2 explosions at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. So, how is the media deceiving us? Well, let me ask you this. Did you know that? Did you know that Richard Serino drew up plans in 2008 to do multiple explosions at the finish line of the Boston Marathon? If not, it's because the media is deceiving you. And it's not that they're giving you necessarily false information, they're just giving you misinformation. Something did happen at the Boston Marathon. What happened is the question. And what is unique? Okay, so basically what it comes down to is this drill had a document like 50 pages long, and I skimmed through it. And what I came up with was some pretty interesting stuff. For example, right in the front it says what is unique about special events. So according to this document, special events are high threat level incidents. There's another high threat level incident coming up this weekend, and that is the Super Bowl. So just keep that in mind as you watch the game, that as far as Homeland Security goes and FEMA and the feds, okay, this is a high threat level incident, and it will be conducted that way. Number 2 on special events is they draw large crowds. Number 3 is excellent opportunities to exercise disaster, large-scale, and mass casualty incident plans. This is their writings, okay? This is not me making it up. This is not conspiracy theory. This is the facts, and you can deal with it how you want. I'm just here to tell you. Next on the list is collaboration. Under that category, it's suggested to work with the media. The media's mission is to get the story. Building long-standing relationships with journalists and reporters ensures that they get the story, and then they will serve as a resource when needed. What does that mean? Serve as a resource when needed. Well, what that means is they will be propagating government propaganda. What it means is that they are there not for you to fill you in on what's happening in the world. They are there for the government to fill you in on what they want you to think is happening in the world. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I'll give you some examples. Right here on this radio station a few years ago, I was told that Osama bin Laden was caught and executed. Well, I don't think anybody here at the radio station actually looked into that, because he was already reported dead 2 other times. So which time did he really die? Or is he even dead? Or was he even a real person to begin with? I'm not going to expect the mainstream media to bring me those facts and that information, because they're not going to do it. They're just not going to. So thank God for Robert and his show that somebody like me can come on here and tell you what else is happening. And hey, I'm no genius. I didn't figure this out. I just had a thirst for the truth, and I went to go look. And what I found is that the truth is we're being lied to. Whatever happens from there is up for debate. Okay, so on with this. Proactive. They want, in this X-Plan document, they want people to be proactive. Quote, mount a coordinated risk communication campaign using media outlets before and during the event. Well, guess what? People said that at the marathon that they heard over the loudspeakers that there was a drill happening. So, okay, we're right now 5 for 5 or so. Mapping. Another section in this document. A map of the route and a close-up of the finish line with an arrow pointing to it right about where the first bomb exploded. Okay, so they even have a map for this stuff. And they put an arrow right there, right at the finish line where everything happened. Credentialing, the next segment here. All personnel must display credentials at all times. So basically, if you're in this drill, you need to be wearing your credentials that say that you're part of the plan. Okay, so if you go ahead and go to YouTube or any of the papers or anything and take a look at some of the photos that they gave you or the videos from this Boston event, and you'll see that they're all wearing these credentials on their lanyards right around their neck. And if you look further, you'll see that they're coordinated. Even the credentials are coordinated, and you can tell by color who's doing what. And that's what happens. So now we're 6 for 6. Now we're going to photographs that they have in this document. There is a photo showing participants wearing white Adidas jackets, just like the ones that we saw them wearing at the Boston Marathon. Okay, another photo shows a communication truck rolling up, opening up, and all of its gadgets and gear that go with the truck, just like the one we saw at the finish line. Other photos show Richard Strino himself there, with his credentials around his neck, directing cops at the explosion site. Is this all coincidence, folks? Because if it is, then you're a coincidence theorist. And unlike the conspiracy theorist, maybe you ought to show us that the official story is true rather than us having to prove that it's not. Because at least that way, you might actually do some digging and some research on your own and not just eat what you're spoon-fed. And I'm not trying to talk mean or down to anybody. This is something we all have to deal with. We're grown men, we're grown women. We like to consider ourselves to be thoughtful and mature and whatever. Well, here it is. Take a gander, look for yourself. Basically, what it comes down to is this exercise plan is one thing. But with the media covering it up and hiding the truth as to what actually happened there, and I got to say, I'm not really sure, but this is now a conspiracy. It's not conspiracy theory. The facts are out. I just laid them out. And it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to all of us to stand up and expose this stuff. It can't happen anymore. It's happened too much. It's even happened here in Buffalo at ECMC. At least that's my opinion, but no one's proven me wrong yet. Well, thank you. We'll be back in about a minute with a special guest, and this is WBN. My name is Eric Polanski, filling in for Robert Saviola. Thank you.